It's UFC 298 fight week, guys. You're speaking to Ricky. I'm gonna break down the main card, for UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. We're gonna start with the first card. Sorry, the first fight is gonna be Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. So, personally, I think this Kopylov guy has a lot of potential. He's been a champion in another organization. It was a Russia promotion, I believe. He's a fantastic kickboxer. Fantastic striking. I personally think he has one of the fastest kicks, in the UFC, and some good hands. His last fight was a knockout, 8 kick knockout. It's quite impressive. So I believe this guy will defeat Anthony Hernandez. Despite Hernandez, having more experience in the UFC Octagon and being very well-rounded and a cardio machine, I think Kopylov will be able to handle him. I think he'll chop at his legs, he'll chop at the body, then he'll try and land that signature high kick and use his boxing to piece Hernandez up. Obviously Hernandez has fought some top guys in the middleweight division, and I believe if Kopylov can, take care of Hernandez and give a good performance, he'll definitely earn himself a better and bigger opponent. The next fight is Marab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Personally, I've been following Marab for quite a while. I believe he should have fought Aljamain Sterling for the belt, and then maybe he could have fought O'Malley. Personally, this is maybe controversial, but I believe he beats O'Malley. I think his wrestling is just superb, and people talking about, how can I say, Cejudo's wrestling. He's Olympic gold medalist and double champ. My thing is Marab has fantastic MMA wrestling. The way he just controls people and the way he just he trips. The trips he has are quite good. And this guy is a cardio machine. Imagine you shoot more than 20 takedowns in a fight. Like most people can't even shoot 3 or 4. So having over 20 takedown attempts and a large portion of them are actually successful. I think that Marab will beat Cejudo. Cejudo is over 30 now. I think he's almost 37 years old. Marab is a new blood, and I believe if he beats Cejudo convincingly, he has to get the title shot against O'Malley. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Next fight is Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. Personally, I think that Ian Gary is gonna be fantastic in this fight. He's something to prove after all the social media trash talk and stuff. So I think he's gonna come out guns blazing and try to finish Jeff Neal in the first round. Personally, Jeff Neal's a very experienced guy in the UFC, fantastic boxing, and his footwork is something to study. The way he goes in and out of his jab, the way he feints. Yeah, I think he's quite a tough guy. The thing is, Ian Gary is longer, he's a bit taller, and I just believe that Ian Gary is a bit more talented in my opinion. He's a very, very good fighter, and I think the fighting is Neil Magny showed that he can hang with the top guys. So yeah, I believe that he has something to prove. He has a good skill set, and I think this is a bad matchup for Jeff Neal in my opinion. The co-main event, I'm not even sure it's gonna happen because Paulo Costa has had trouble making weight. So if he does make weight, I do see him as the favorite in my opinion. After such a long layoff, it's the same thing. I just believe that a lot of the guys that I've picked have something to prove, and if they can't show what they're made of on this card, I think it is gonna kind of have an effect on their legacy and their careers. And maybe that's not the case with Marab or Kopylov, Ian Gary and Paulo Costa though. This is kind of a moment in their careers that can either make or break it in my opinion. So I really want Paulo Costa to win personally because I'm a huge fan of him. I'm following him for a long time. I just believe that knockout of Adesanya, really did affect him. So hopefully he can bounce back against a guy that has had a very, very close fight with Adesanya. So I personally believe that this guy is just too strong. His boxing is fantastic. His pressure is fantastic. His jiu-jitsu is fantastic. I'm not saying that Whittaker is a slouch. I personally think that this will be a very close fight. With Whittaker's karate style, how he bounces around, he uses that 1-2 leg, 1-2 high kick combination very well, to set up a lot of his other combinations. I just believe that Paulo Costa will want it more. He wants to prove to everyone that he still has it. And personally, I think Whittaker, after what happened with Trickers, he's probably going to be very, very. How can I say? I feel like even in the interviews he's done, he's like almost looking past Paulo Costa. He's talking about Trickers, about how he's upset with how he lost, and 9 out of 10 times he beats Trickers. So I don't think he's fully focused on Paulo Costa himself. I think that he's almost looking past him because he believes he will beat Paulo. And I think that's a recipe for disaster. Okay, in the main event, now this fight, like we can see with the picture, I put both of them because I really don't know who's gonna win this fight. On the one hand, we have the champion with so much experience, with different level, and we have the undefeated challenger, the young prospect that wants to, kill the old lion and take what he has. Personally, I just think Volkanovski will edge it. However, it's really gonna come back down to who is better on the night. Because Tupuria has the skills, fantastic ground game, very good submissions, very very good at boxing, and it's really gonna be a tough fight. And this could be one of those fights that almost cements Volkanovski in the Hall of Fame. And if Tupuria wins, it will kind of mark the start of a long, long title reign, in my opinion. I think Tupuria beats Max Holloway, in my opinion. And if he beats Volkanovski, that already indicate now this guy's top level. I think like Max Holloway, I don't know, he's getting a bit. I can't explain it, but if you take he's actually the number one guy that gets hit the most and hits people the most. And I think over time it's not really gonna be good, because the legendary chins always manage to break. Look at Tony Ferguson. And we still have to see what happens with Justin Gaethje and Holloway on UFC 29. It's 300, yes, UFC 300. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But in my opinion, Topuria has the skills. However, Volkanovski is a different beast. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys are very excited for 298. Give me your predictions in the comment section. And if you don't agree with something I said, please let me know. I always like a debate. But yeah, guys, thank you for your time. And yeah, just keep watching the fights. And if you aren't training martial arts and you watch the UFC, I would highly recommend starting martial arts, because when you watch the UFC, it's almost like studying, and you start to pick up things that you can apply to your training. So yeah, this is my suggestion, guys. But yeah, thank you for your time and all the best.